Hey there, dear family of light. I'm finally here again in front of all of you, recording this video. I've wanted to do this video already last week, but I guess the cosmic alignments and certain events and my own personal training, purification, and unfolding had to be present first, because everything is in divine order anyway. So I awoke to a beautiful morning today after the Venus transit and all these galactic alignments that so many have been speaking about, and I've been speaking about myself too, have been happening now. And before I start talking about what I really want to speak about and what is really within my heart ever since last week, but I guess certain things needed to happen first, before me speaking about this. Before all of this, I would like to read what I wrote today when I was really inspired through all that's been happening within me, all that's been, resurfacing, and all that I've started to remember and acknowledge and integrate within me, because it's all about embodiment. We can all know things from the mind, but this is just intellectual knowing. This is knowing that many have, but we are transcending into multidimensional states of existence within fully embodying all of those states within us and sharing them authentically with others if we're so guided to, because we can only shine through our presence as it is embodied in this now moment. And this video is dedicated to speak about a new era, a new kind of operating within this realm, what we wish to create, what is the path of the new, really, how it was felt within my heart during these transits, not just the cosmic alignments and the, as they were in our solar system, but also our inner shifts, because we are that microcosm within the macrocosm. We are the ones who are to observe that inner shifts. And while everything was happening, and I'll share a personal story as well, because I think we can share a lot when we share personal experiences through our own journey. And along the way, we might uplift someone or a few. So this video has to do with all of you who are watching my videos, with are really intense initiations that are really propelling us towards the new, really, causing all the old to resurface, all that we used to cling on to, and really starting to see what is important in life, walking the path of the simple life, walking the middle path. This is this video, and I'll share a personal story after I read this text that I wrote today. So, dear family of light, after the transit of Venus, I woke up into a beautiful morning. Everything feels so much smoother on so many levels, like so many veils of illusion have been lifted from within. It sure feels like divine timing for so many things, for so many of us. We have been traveling so far, doing so many things, but eventually we come to a revelation that all things within love are simple. And in truth, there is nothing but love. Love is sacred. When we realize this and remember our divine origin through divine remembrance, we wish to simply simplify our life and just be. We crave for self-nurture and to share our authentic self with others. We do not wish to play by the rules of expectation or expectations of others. We only wish to set the rules of our own game. And we now see how simple this truly is. It is all about self-authenticity, integrity, and soul truth. Living also our soul's truth always gets us closer to remembering the divine universal truth as well. We are here for one reason and this reason only, and this naturally includes many other reasons as well, to be and to experience life. When we do it from our natural organic state, we share a unique vibration with the rest of the world, and this is all it truly takes to serve. Because we are not here for others or to please anyone else. We are here for ourselves, capital S. And only when we recognize this and breathe within sacred self-love, we can be here for others as well. This is the true divine feminine energy that is becoming revealed to all of us during this Venus transit and all other powerful alignments. We are to experience and embody it, the divine mother within us all. And remember, it is not just about observing this beautiful cosmic event. It is about feeling it deep within us and observe our inner shifts, for all that is happening in the external world is also unfolding within us. And I saw this person commenting that, New Agers always speak about these alignments and planets, so why do we give so much power to them if we are supposed to be gods ourselves? It is not about giving power to the planet, to the alignments, but it is to realize that everything is interconnected. Like I wrote, the outer shifts, the inner shifts, all is happening simultaneously. And that is why I wrote, it's not just about to observe these events. It is to observe what is happening during these events internally. So many people along this way and around the globe are talking about this event, and they take photos and they film it and they speak about how wonderful it is. In fact, all these events are, intertwined with our consciousness, because all consciousness is one. It is the matrix of all living things, of source. And all creation is within that source, and it's limitless, boundless, it's eternal. So it's here in many ways to present us this divine spark and how simple everything is. Of course, creation is complex, like I've been speaking about last week, but it is simple because love is simple. So it is not about us giving power away to the planets and alignments. Of course, along this way, many can do this and take astrology, or things that speak about this. Other, sources that speak about this. But it's not about that. You can do that along the way. But once you truly don't give your power away, you just see everything, you observe it, you know that it's there co-creating with you along the way. So I also wrote this. There's a great balancing happening on earth now, and we seek it within us as well. For what is without is always what is within. Because we are a mission and path, for there is no separation between the two. As we shift, so does our mission, and with it, our loving service to others and the world. Our human bodies are following the physical changes occurring due to this external rise of geomagnetic intensity on the planet within the greater cosmic shifts. As always, the only constant is change. Our physical vehicles are experiencing so much change that new and extra approaches will be needed, especially those that are still laying dormant. Our greatest challenge is to master the physical realm and walk the middle path between the seen and unseen. This is how we're constantly expanding, and so does the cosmos. And the great divine feminine energy that, of course, it always has been here. We're unveiling it right now. It was kind of hidden, laying dormant. It was repressed for so many eons and eons of time. So what's happening is our divine remembrance is being stronger and stronger during these times. And the divine feminine energy is that unseen, is that mystery, is that path of wholeness that cannot always be proven or seen with physical eyes. It is us realizing that we are to master this physical realm, because in truth, we came here for ourselves and to master this plane. Even though some of us came as volunteers, we came for ourselves to really gain new experiences, because the universe is always learning about itself. It's creating, and while it creates, it also learns. That's why no one is just a teacher. We're all teacher and the student. We're both. So we have these challenges, initiations, and they're very strong right now. They're so intense, and that's how I was experiencing this week. Okay, I'll share my story with you. So it started happening and unfolding last week, and something happened, this thing. I felt it ever since waking up Friday morning. I felt something is going to happen. I just really, I'm so intuitive, so I'm connected to myself and my inner guidance. And I felt edgy, and I felt kind of, triggered without a specific reason. And I was just posting something on Facebook, and all of a sudden, the page threw me out. I was no longer Facebook. All of a sudden, I kept posting, and I was just posting. I became so self-empowered last week because I noticed things that are repeating, and people asking me questions that are really disempowering because they want me to be a spokesperson for them, but I cannot be. I can only be a spokesperson for myself. And I'll make an additional video about this as well, because it's what my guidance is saying as well. So during this, I was posting about this, how everything is within and what is my main message for the world. And during this, it just threw me out, and I was off Facebook, and I get to check it again, and I see I'm no longer online. I don't exist. I'm no longer on Facebook. They deactivated my account. And first response was, I knew it. I knew something was going to happen. I said, okay, you're not a victim of this, because I don't go for victim consciousness, but it felt weird. I was triggered so much because of the intensity. There was this intense building of emotion within me. There was this kind of like intensity rising up. And I was talking to my sister of light, and sending messages to my beloved and what's happening that never happened to me, but I heard it, that it does exist. I've seen it happen to many people. And even now when I go and log on to Facebook, I see many people are disappearing, maybe some reappearing as well. Like it happened to me. So anyway, I wanted to keep my cool, but after talking about it and after really wanting to be honest with myself, I went to my balcony and was talking to my beloved. He was just coming to visit me, and I started crying. I felt like, oh my God, I'm gone. I'm really gone. How will I bring my messages forth? I only have my webpage and it's rather new, so I can't share in such large amounts. And I knew instantly, I said, Facebook is not my source. Source is my source. And it's the same way for everyone. Sources are source, not certain types of media or social plugins and web pages. And I knew this. And even though knowing this, I was going through experience. I was experiencing. So after this crying and releasing and just knowing I'm not there and I might not be able to come back, I was at such peace because, I said, even though I don't know what's happening, because some people say hackers, some people say someone might, be jealous or whatever, and they might report you as being like spammer or whatever, and they might disable you during that and due to that. And some people say something else, blah, blah, blah. And you know what, guys, it doesn't matter. People see things so trivially with such superficial eyes. I immediately knew it's not about Facebook. It's not about anything. I knew it's my challenge. I knew it's something because my beloved reminded me of something. He said, Luna, you've been speaking about this for like 2 months now. You've been saying, I feel my path is something different, not just this. It's not, people want me to answer certain things. They want me to speak about certain things. It's about, what they want. It's supposed to be what I want and how I bring light to this world, because if it's not that way, it's not authentic. And how can we assist someone if we're not authentic? So Facebook is kind of like a tricky thing, It can get you off your focus. It can get you off your path if you're not careful, if you're not within well enough. This is called the mastering of things. You can be very well with your light and how to share it, but this physical realm is so dense, sometimes you can fall to that degree. You can stoop to the expectations of others and to their level, even though you might have such increased light within you and how you share it. But sometimes you just fall to that. You just fall for these tricks of this density. And immediately while that happened, with that crying and releasing, I said to myself, it doesn't matter. No one can take my light away from me. Nothing can take my source away from me. Even if they take, means of me, getting my messages out there. It does not matter. I did not come here for that. And you have to know Facebook is a tricky thing also because there's a lot of control there. Everyone can read your data. They can manipulate your information and your data and everything that you share. You're basically public. So I remember this person wrote to me once. They said, I'm on spiritual networks. I'm not on Facebook because it's within the system. It's true. But so many of us are within the system to push, barriers, to extend them, to not keep them where they are, to move them towards the new, to extend these barriers and eventually make them disappear through transcending it with our light. So I immediately knew, I said to myself, I'm not going to go back the old way because I feel this is a challenge. I know the eclipse is near because it was just like 2 days towards the lunar eclipse. And then I knew the Venus transit is following. And I knew this was something to do with my own desires, because sometimes we ask for guidance, but when something comes, guidance can be the universal energies will take something away from you, because it's not something outer takes it away from you, because you're interconnected with everything. So you are co-creating with that because you ask for guidance, you ask for something new, but still clinging on to the old. So how can the new come if you're still clinging on to the old? And I've said to myself, you know what? If it's meant for me, I always have this policy and this awareness. If it's meant for me to not be on Facebook any longer, it just won't be. And how can I lose my faith and trust because of that? Because we need to be ready for that. Many things can happen. For instance, so many people speak about solar flares, causing the internet to go down and many other things as well. Yes, this could be the easy option, because sometimes everyone believes things will be taken off and, we'll start to rebuild from scratch. And This is all that they see. This is like the only option some people really see. But there's so many, so many options, so many values that we can choose from a certain equation, so many things that we can adjust, so many things that we can create within this, that there's just not one solution. There's just not one outline as to what's going to happen. There's various amounts of them, and there's multitudes of choosing. So we get to choose. Always, it's us who are creating. So if something comes and takes something away, it's not something from our external reality that will take this away from us. We are co-creating. We want this change, so our subconscious part, our higher self's part, will be, orchestrating this behind the scenes. So I have to admit that I went in my room, and when I was really focused on feeling myself, what I feel during this, a part of me felt, oh my God, this shock. So I'm just not there anymore. How, okay. It was shock. It was a bit shocking because I was clinging too much on how I used to operate, what I used to do. But you get to realize that the only constant is change. So you might be gone, not just from Facebook, from, things might be gone from your life, because this is the immense period of the shift right now that we're going through and experiencing. It's all about the experience. We can speak about these things from the mind. We can be all mental. But once something comes, that's when the real us gets to flourish. That's when the real us gets to show its true colors and its power and strength to handle these initiations and to really master the physical realm and to truly see that faith is in all, that faith encompasses all things, even those things that happen that, might trigger a certain amount of shock within us. So first part of me was shock. The second part was relief. What I felt was relief. I felt relief, and I was surprised. I said, oh my God, I feel relief for not having to post something, not having to do something. Wow. So then my beloved came, and we started having our own weekend and enjoying our own challenges as well, because many other patterns and how we used to react came up as well to the surface. And the energies were so intense. There was immense pressure around the whole body area. And I knew that this is something I have to go through alone, because what people do, a lot of them, when there are these powerful cosmic alignments and these universal energies that, are being anchored in this dimension, in this realm, through these vortices, they don't get it, that it's about being with ourselves at that time, at that moment. So when I was giving myself that time and space to just be with me, because that was the space that I gave myself to see that I need more space, to see the old patterns, the old beliefs that I used to have before I started doing this. So when we were going through this together, I was really repelled to go online and on the internet. I felt pressure from people because so many are like, oh, when's the new video coming out? Answer this question, answer that. No. I realized, no, we have to have these healthy boundaries. We have to take care of ourselves first. And I've seen quite a few messages from the angels for people who do channeled messages, and they all resonated. They all spoke about this. Nurture yourself first. And many masters spoke of that, the same thing. Jesus said, love yourself first, because you cannot love others if you don't love the self. All is intertwined, and only when we love ourselves, through that self, we love all the rest and all others and all realms and all the possibilities and all creation. That's how it is. So when we are having this space of allowance, when we say it's okay to just be with myself, I don't have to do anything, even, because sometimes there are outer expectations, especially once you expose yourself like I did on Facebook, on YouTube, and, there are so many forms of me sharing my messages that it became a pressure for me at a certain time. So these needed to be released. These pressures needed to be released and made whole again, because we are all seeking that greater wholeness, which we already are. So we need to integrate it, implement it in our lives. And this is what was happening. So when I was alone and when I was with my beloved, and we were, we are two simple beings. We're beings of nature. We just go out in nature. We always see random animals. We film it. We record our videos that are just for ourselves. We laugh. We're goofy. We just keep laughing. It's who we are. And then, not when I post, not when I share, then I get to remember my core of who I truly am. So people, it is really important to know what is valuable right now and what is not. And because of that experience, I got to see this. And because after it, he came and we were together and we just flew with life. We were in flow. And in that flow, many things came to surface. I had a lot of that monkey mind. I couldn't sleep. not just because of the energies, and I couldn't go back to sleep because of my monkey mind going off. Oh, but I have to do this, but someone asked me that, blah, 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 blah. This can be so tiresome. This can be so heavy. And he felt my energies. He cried with me because he said, I know how you feel. It's tough. It really is, because we create this for ourselves in order to forget, in order to remember again. Because remember, ascension is all about ascending in order to descend and then ascend again. And it's all intertwined in eternal circles. So we keep creating from ascending in order to descend and descend in order to ascend, and it's all intertwined in these cycles of life. But we always stay at our core, and the core is love, and love just is, and love is simple, and truth is love. So when I'm with my beloved, I remember that before I started doing this, before I started becoming more public with my messages and really wanted to share my life, not just with myself, I was always a giver. And this was my pattern as well, give in order to receive. But I've heard in many teachings that we have to receive first in order to give. And it's true. You cannot give from an empty vessel. You have to become whole yourself in order to give. So there's great balance needed. It's not just I cannot just escape from the world and say, from now on, I'll just go away. I won't do this anymore. The secret is in balance. That's when mastery comes in. This is called the middle path. And to walk this path of authenticity, for me, I realized I will only share things when I will be guided to share them. I won't answer questions if someone will push me, or that need, or if I would feel obliged to do something. There is no such thing in oneness and unity. And that is why my main message is to go within, because all the answers are found there. So in truth, when you realize how simple everything is, you see that my beloved often says that. He says, I don't speak so much about these things. I know them, I feel them, but I don't feel the need to speak about them because everyone needs to get them on their own anyway. And truth is so simple. How can you put it in words? The more words you speak, the less truth it is in there, because the more you complicate it. And I say, complexity of creation is not the same as us complicating things and how we perceive life within that creation. In truth, everything is so simple. And we both have the same message for the world. It is in simplicity. It is in joy of life and seeing simple things like loving the wind that caresses your face. For us, we love mountains. We love to be there. For us, it's sharing our space, our sacred space in the mountains, just seeing things, all fractions of creation, rocks, trees, air, that energy. Oh, it's amazing. And this weekend we went to take this short trip, and the weather was bad, and I was complaining and said, what do we have out of this trip? Nothing came out of it. And then we saw this amazing snake, and we filmed it, and it reacted a certain way. And then we saw another animal, and we filmed all those animals, and we laughed. And he said, do you still think that this trip was for nothing? And I said, no, I was really wrong. There's a purpose for everything, and there's no wrong, or there's no wrong. Sometimes we are a bit anxious. We're a bit undecisive, don't know what to decide for, but there's no wrong decision. If we choose it from our authentic being, it's always the right one. And for me, I got to realize that what is really important is to be with my beloved, to share this happiness, and to want this happiness for myself as well. Because you have to understand, for me, how it was for me. It doesn't have to be that way for everyone, but I never had such a person who truly loved me for me. Of course, I had my mother. She was unconditional with her love, but motherly love it's not the same as, there's many different forms of love. Love is universal, but how we express it in the physical realm, there are many different forms of love. But within the masculine energy, I never had the support. I never had this understanding. I remember even that woman who was psychic telling me, she said, no one understands you. Men can understand you. She said, you have to wait for the right one to understand you. And now I found that. And I'm really happy, because being with him, I saw that before I used to self-sabotage myself because I didn't have such a person. I said to myself, it's okay, I don't need that. I don't need that. I'll just serve others, and this, what I do makes me happy. I am what I do, but we are not what we do. We are so not what we do. We're so much more. We're so grander. It's not about those tiny little things, those little dots. It's about the bigger picture. And once you take time to step aside to see the bigger picture, you will see who you truly are. And you'll smile because it is so simple. We truly are so simple. You know, we were out in nature, we were filming chickens, and chickens are so funny. We were laughing because they were like football players with their little, chicken legs, and they were running, and I was feeding them dates, and we were we were saying, let's guess what they like to eat. And he said, they eat everything. And I'm like, let's try it out. And we were I was throwing them those stuff, and they were running, and they were so funny, and I laughed so much. And I said to him, I cried. I said, I want this simple life. I want to have this wooden house. I want to have chickens, not because I eat meat or because I eat eggs. I just want to have them to amuse me because they're so fun. I was so joyful. And, when I got to see the other part, the darker part, when I was facing my shadow, that need to do something to have this validation, to mean something to someone, because usually in my past, I needed to do something for people to value me, but he loves me just for being me. And to him, I'm always perfect. And this is the true twin flame reunion and how it is. True acceptance. And within that, I'm healing so much. And we're both healing. And we're both realizing that how simple everything is. And this is our message to the world. So many people give out channeling the messages and so many messages in so many various forms. But in truth, life is so simple. You came here to experience life, no matter why you're here for, to learn lessons, to be a volunteer, to volunteer for others. Whatever you are, there's no separation in the truth that you come here for you. Because even though you came to serve, you came to experience within that how you serve, what you do. And through what you do, you get to see or not what you do. That's just that instant, that tiny fractal within a now moment, and every now moment is passing by, and there's just this one tiny now moment. And because of that past, I used to say to myself, I gave myself this affirmation that it's okay, that I don't need this. I don't have to have it. Maybe it's not on my path. And I thought I was selfish if I wanted things for myself. But there's a difference between being humble and wanting things, to have pure desires of the heart that come from the soul. Those are not desires of the ego. This is what my soul felt. My soul felt I will be joined with my beloved. I even wrote that so many times in my automatic writing. But sometimes we become disencouraged by other people, by things, by what other people feed us, what they tell us about ourselves. And basically, when someone else describes you, they just describe themselves, because everything is just a mirror. So through him, through that love, I see that I did want that. And now I do see that I need to have it, to experience it, to express it, that I also want my personal life. Because sometimes I see people who ask me stuff, they just clearly act the way that I don't see that I also have a personal life. Like I'm always here, like I'm this universal lady, always answering people's questions. And like I say, I cannot be anyone's spokesperson. I can only be responsible for myself and my own journey, and be a spokesperson for myself, to share my soul truth in order to have these divine truths aligned with me, to anchor in my being, and to share them with others if they resonate. And if along that path I get to uplift someone, hey, that's great. But I will not give myself away. I will no longer be just a giver. I will be a balanced giver and receiver, because in truth of one, it is all balanced. And as I said, I knew those things from the mind, because all of us who are in this path, in this journey, we know things from the mind. But now, we are challenged to a new degree how to truly embody all of that. And we embody through experiencing it. And this is how I go through my own initiations. And while I'm experiencing these initiations, I need my solitude time. I need my retreat. And when I'm not posting on my page or my Facebook page or YouTube, you have to know I'm there, living my life, going through experiences, and you are too as well. Because if you forget about life and the true nature of life and the true simplicity and the beauty of that simplicity, life will pass right by you, and one day you'll just say, what happened? I did not really fully live my life. This is the era of the new. This is what we're bringing forth now. Not just messengers and channel material and speaking about things from the mind. We are moving from the mental to the embodiment. We're moving to the real nurturing feminine energy, the goddess that is neutral, that shares and holds all aspects and is whole and complete. This is the mother of all creation, so it's also within us. It's not just somewhere out there. We all have aspects of cosmic mother and father within us all. So when we are authentic, when we share what we are guided to share and do what we're guided to do, that's when we really flow from our soul, not from what we think or what we've been programmed, not just by others. We program ourselves really well as well. You know, I've been programming myself as well. So what we are going through now is we are reprogramming ourselves. We are actually deprogramming ourselves in order to be blank, like a blank sleeve. And sometimes, you know, like I've said to my beloved, I said, I feel empty, I feel hollow. And he said, great, because that is the void for the new. So we're like Phoenix rising. And there's always ashes involved in this burning flame of the Phoenix rising. And what do ashes do? For instance, if you're a gardener, you know, they fertilize the soil, they fertilize the ground. And this is in order for something new to grow, something new and beautiful. So this is my experience, and I really was guided to share this with you. I hope that I'll be able to share with you in new ways, that you'll still keep following me. And on my page, do subscribe to ascension-pioneers.org. I'll be posting my things there as usual, and things are changing. We're you know, life is always flowing. So our webpage, it's not just my webpage, it's mine and my beloved's webpage. We're creating it together. None of us has this knowledge of all. We're still learning. You know, he's still learning. He is a programmer in a way, and he does know computer stuff, but he's learning as he's going through as well. We are learning as we're going through experience of life. So we keep adding new stuff to my page. We're going to add beautiful soul mandalas now from my mother. You will be also able, if you're interested, to get them, to receive them, to purchase them. She is an amazing example of how to live a simple life. I adore her. I really look up to her the same way she looks up to me. And we'll be sharing many other things as well. I will be writing 2 blogs now, because during all those events, I've been posting so much and I wasn't able to write a whole blog, to edit it in a way that really resonates within the whole grander message of the blog. So I'll create 2 right now. So please keep updated. I hope that you really find that inner space of wisdom, of knowing, of being within yourself as well, and to know you don't have to do anything in order to be. Don't fall for those same tricks that I used to fall for, you know, to do something because others expect you to do it. And don't have that, what will other people think of me if I don't do that or this? It doesn't matter. What do you think of yourself? Do you love yourself? Well, then guess what? Everything is solved. And yeah, I want to have that simple life. I want it. I do have those soul desires, and I do want to have chickens and continue to keep walking in my mountains with my beloved and in nature and seeing all those wonderful animals that we always get to see and just laugh so much. And this is our message for the world. And I guess because I was wanting to have that reunion for so long, I felt it, and now I'm there. And I said to him, ever since I met you, everything is changing in my life, because all the old is falling apart. And this is what the Twin Flame Reunion is about. It's about planting something new, that's to creating the third and building that beautiful bridge for the Christ of consciousness. And when we did the beautiful light activation on my meadow after running on the day of the eclipse on 4th of June, we sat and I did the activation. I was flowing with words, as I usually do, as to how I got the impressions of the holographic images. And I saw this beautiful picture of, you know, the Vesica Pisces symbols, the circle within the circle, you know, creating that place within to 2 circles, and how we are building that, and how all the twin flame couples, all the couples that are building union and Christ consciousness, and how everything this is coming together. We are forming the basic flower of life pattern that is the pattern of all creation. And what will we doing that? We are restoring Earth's blueprint to divine original blueprint. So remember, only when you'll be sharing and living your soul truth, you will get to know the realms of universal truths as well. These are 2 different things, because our soul truth is individual, unique. And that's why I can answer people's personal questions, because your soul truth is different, and I can solve riddles and puzzles for you. So all those of you who have asked me something very personal, do not expect an answer from me, because you have your own path, and you have to experience things in order to flow and remember who you truly are. So within that, when we experience that, soul, universal truths come apparent to you, because you become more and more in tune to those source energies. So that's why I'm here to answer through my own guidance these universal truths, not personal soul truths. No way. This is your thing. This is your experience. So that's why I have a new contact form on my webpage. It's how to contact me, but it's only to ask me general questions about this. When you're wondering about Ascension, if you have your personal life story to ask me about and my opinions and advice, I will not answer it. And beautiful co-creator beings, I will talk to you soon, and stay in touch. We're in beautiful times right now, but we always have been. We just kept forgetting, right? That's why we kept returning. Anyway, take care. We'll talk to you soon. Much love.